What if I told you some tiny silver dimes from the 1950s could quietly hold the kind of value that makes collectors dream about luxury houses, expensive cars, and hidden treasure collections? Sounds impossible for a 10-cent coin, but that's exactly why serious collectors inspect every old silver dime they find. Because in today's video, we're uncovering 4 powerful Roosevelt Dimes from America's classic silver coin era. From the 1955 D, Roosevelt Dime with its valuable full bands detail, to the elegant 1954 Roosevelt Dime packed with silver value, to the collectible 1952 D, dime from America's booming post-war years, and finally, the lower mintage, 1950s Roosevelt dime that continues gaining attention among collectors today. These coins may look small, but hidden inside them are real silver, rare full bands details, valuable mint errors, high-grade collector demand. And here's the exciting part. Many people still have these silver dimes sitting in old jars, collections, drawers, and forgotten boxes, without realizing what they're actually worth. So imagine this. What if one tiny silver dime in your home right now is secretly the coin collectors are searching for? Before you ignore your next old dime, take a closer look, because sometimes the smallest silver coin hides the biggest surprise. Coin number 1, 1955 D Roosevelt Dime, a small silver coin with big collector appeal. What if one of the smallest coins in your pocket was actually carrying a hidden piece of American history? Not a large silver dollar, not a rare gold coin, just a tiny dime. That's exactly what makes the 1955 D Roosevelt Dime so interesting. At first glance, it may look ordinary, small, silver-colored, and easy to overlook. But collectors know something important. Sometimes the smallest coins hide the biggest surprises, and this dime is a perfect example. The year 1955 was part of a powerful post-war period in the United States. The economy was growing fast. New cars filled the roads. Television became common in homes. Businesses expanded across the country. And during this time, silver coins were still heavily used in everyday life. That means dimes like the 1955 D Roosevelt Dime passed through millions of hands over the decades. Most became worn from circulation, and many were eventually melted for silver, which is exactly why higher quality examples are much harder to find today. The Denver Mint. The small letter near the date tells an important story, the D mint mark. This means the coin was struck at the Denver Mint. In 1955, Denver produced approximately 48 million Roosevelt dimes. While that may sound like a large number, most of those coins circulated heavily for years. As time passed, clean, uncirculated examples became much scarcer. Real silver composition. One of the biggest reasons collectors love this coin is simple. It contains real silver. The 1955 D Roosevelt Dime is made from 90% silver, 10% copper, weight 2.5 grams. Unlike modern dimes, this coin has real precious metal value, a brighter silver appearance, a classic vintage feel. Even worn examples are worth more than face value because of their silver content alone. Obverse, Franklin D. Roosevelt. The front of the coin features Franklin D. Roosevelt, one of the most influential U.S. presidents, along with Liberty, In God We Trust, 1955, to mint mark. Collectors carefully inspect hair detail, cheek condition, surface marks, original luster. The cleaner and sharper the coin, the higher its value becomes. Reverse, torch, olive and oak. Flip the coin over, and you'll see one of the most recognizable dime designs in U.S. history. The reverse includes a central torch, olive branch, oak branch. These symbols represent liberty, peace, strength. Collectors especially look for sharp details in the torch bands and leaves. Value breakdown. Now let's talk about what this coin may actually be worth. Circulated silver coins. $2, $5 based on silver value. Better condition coins. $10, 40 plus, uncirculated coins, $50, 500 plus. Full bands examples, $1,000, 9,000 plus. Coins with fully visible horizontal bands on the torch are extremely desirable. What are full bands? This is one of the most important details for Roosevelt Dimes. Collectors check the torch on the reverse. If the horizontal bands are fully separated, sharp, and complete, the coin may receive a full bands (FB) designation, and that can dramatically increase value. Luster and surface quality matter. Collectors also search for bright original shine, minimal scratches, strong silver surfaces. A beautifully preserved Dime can stand out immediately. Rare errors and varieties. Some 1955D Roosevelt Dimes may feature double die details, off-center strikes, die cracks, weak strikes. These unusual minting errors can add extra collector value. One big mistake to avoid. If you ever find one, never clean the coin. Cleaning damages the original silver surface and lowers collector value instantly. Natural aging is preferred by collectors, where you might find one. Even today, these dimes can still appear in old collections, estate sales, silver coin jars, coin rolls. Many people overlook them because they seem common, but collectors always check carefully. Why this coin is special. The 1955D Roosevelt Dime remains popular because it contains real silver. It comes from America's classic silver coin era. Full bands examples are highly collectible. High-grade coins are increasingly difficult to find. It may be small, but it carries real history and real value. The 1955D Roosevelt Dime proves something important. You don't need a giant gold coin to find hidden value. Sometimes, a tiny silver dime with the right detail can become a collector's treasure. So next time you see an old Roosevelt dime, check the date, look for the mint mark, and pay close attention to those torch bands, because that little silver coin might be worth far more than 10 cents. Coin number 2, 1954, Roosevelt Dime. A silver coin that quietly survived time. Some coins become famous because of massive rarity, but others become valuable because they quietly survive decade after decade, while most people stop paying attention to them. That's exactly the story of the 1954 Roosevelt Dime. Small enough to disappear into a pocket, yet important enough to capture the attention of serious collectors many years later. At first glance, it may seem like a simple old dime, but hidden inside this tiny silver coin is a connection to America's past, real silver value and collector demand that continues to grow over time. The year 1954 was part of a major rebuilding and expansion period in the United States. America was changing quickly. Cities continued growing. Highways expanded across the country. Businesses and industries became stronger. During this era, silver coins were part of everyday life. People used dimes constantly. Grocery stores, gas stations, restaurants, public transportation. No one thought these small coins would one day become collectibles, and because they circulated heavily, many became worn long before collectors started saving them carefully. Mint locations. The 1954 Roosevelt Dime was struck at 3 different mints. Philadelphia, no mint mark. Denver, D. San Francisco, S. Each version carries different collector interest depending on rarity and condition. Approximate mintages. Philadelphia, 46 million. Denver, 117 million. San Francisco, 49 million. Even though millions were produced, high-quality examples are becoming harder to locate today. 90% real silver. One reason collectors still love this coin is simple. It contains genuine silver. The 1954 Roosevelt Dime is made from 90% silver, 10% copper. Weight, 2.5 grams. Unlike modern dimes, this coin has intrinsic silver value in addition to collector value. That gives it a completely different appeal. Obverse, Roosevelt portrait. The front features Franklin D. Roosevelt, along with Liberty. In God We Trust, 1954. Collectors carefully examine hair detail above Roosevelt's ear, cheek condition, surface marks, original mint luster. Coins with sharp details and fewer scratches become much more desirable. Reverse, Torch of Liberty. Turn the coin over, and you'll see the classic Roosevelt Dime reverse, central torch, olive branch, oak branch. These symbols represent liberty, peace, strength. Collectors especially focus on the torch details, value breakdown. Now, let's answer the most important question. What is the 1954 Roosevelt Dime worth today? Circulated silver coins, $2.05 plus depending on silver prices. Better condition coins, $10, 50 plus. Uncirculated coins, $75, 600 plus. Full bands examples, $1,000, 6,000 plus. Exceptional high-grade coins can become extremely valuable. Full bands, the key detail. For Roosevelt Dimes, one detail changes everything. The torch bands. Collectors search for coins where the horizontal bands on the torch are sharp, fully separated, clearly visible. This is called the full bands, FB designation. And coins with this feature often sell for much higher prices. Original luster matters. Collectors also love coins with bright silver shine, strong original surfaces, minimal wear, a clean, untouched 1954 dime can look stunning even after decades. Rare errors and varieties. Some 1954 Roosevelt dimes may feature collectible mint errors, double die details, off-center strikes, die cracks, weak strikes. These unusual varieties can increase collector interest significantly. Never clean the coin. If you ever find one, do not polish or clean it. Cleaning damages the silver surface and removes original collector quality. Natural toning is often preferred by serious collectors. Why collectors still want this coin? The 1954 Roosevelt dime remains collectible because it contains real silver. It belongs to the classic silver coin era. Full bands examples are difficult to find. High-grade coins continue gaining attention. It's proof that even a small coin can hold significant value. The 1954 Roosevelt dime may seem small and simple, but hidden inside that silver coin is history, precious metal, and collector demand that continues decades later. And sometimes, the coins people ignore the fastest become the ones collectors search for the hardest. Coin number 3, 1952 D, Roosevelt Dime. A small silver coin from America's golden era. What if one of the smallest coins ever made by the U.S. Mint was quietly hiding silver value, collector demand, and a connection to one of America's most powerful decades? That's exactly what makes the 1952 D, Roosevelt Dime so fascinating. Most people would never think twice about an old dime. It's small, simple, easy to overlook. But collectors understand something important. Sometimes the coins that appear ordinary on the surface become extraordinary when condition, silver content, and rarity come together. And this Roosevelt dime is a perfect example. The year 1952 came during a period of major economic strength in the United States. After World War II, America was expanding rapidly. Factories were booming. New neighborhoods were being built. Families were spending more money than ever before. Coins flowed heavily through circulation every single day. And because dimes were one of the most used coins in America, most 1952 D dimes became worn quickly through years of daily use. That's why truly sharp examples are becoming harder to find today. The Denver Mint. The small letter next to the date reveals an important detail, the D mint mark. This means the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. In 1952, Denver struck approximately 122 million Roosevelt dimes. That sounds like a huge number, but over time, many were lost, damaged, melted for silver, or worn down from circulation. And because of that, collectors today search carefully for high-quality survivors, real silver content. One major reason collectors love this coin is simple. It contains genuine silver. The 1952 Roosevelt Dime is made from 90% silver, 10% copper, weight 2.5 grams. Unlike modern dimes, this coin has precious metal value, bright silver appearance, a classic old-school feel. Even lower-grade examples are usually worth more than face value because of the silver alone. Obverse, Roosevelt's portrait. The front of the coin features Franklin D. Roosevelt, the U.S. president honored shortly after his passing. You'll also see Liberty, In God We Trust, 1952, to mint mark. Collectors inspect. Hair detail, cheek condition, surface marks, original luster. The cleaner and sharper the coin remains, the higher the value can become. Reverse, Torch of Liberty. Turn the coin over, and you'll see the famous Roosevelt Dime reverse design. Central torch, olive branch, oak branch. These symbols represent liberty, peace, strength. Collectors pay special attention to the horizontal bands on the torch. Value breakdown. Now let's talk about value. Circulated silver coins, $2 5 depending on silver prices. Better condition coins, $10 40 plus. Uncirculated coins, $50 500 plus. Full bands examples, $1,000 7,500 plus. Top condition full bands coins are highly collectible. Full bands, the collector favorite. For Roosevelt Dimes, one feature changes everything. Full bands, FB. Collectors look at the torch on the reverse. If the horizontal bands are fully separated, sharp, and complete, the coin may qualify for the valuable FB designation, and that can dramatically increase its price. Luster and eye appeal matter. Collectors also search for coins with bright silver shine, strong original surfaces, minimal scratches or marks. Beautiful eye appeal can make even common-date dimes stand out. Rare errors and varieties. Some 1952 dimes may feature double die details, off-center strikes, die cracks, weak strikes. These minting errors can increase collector interest significantly. Important warning. If you find one, never clean the coin. Cleaning damages the silver surface and lowers collector value immediately. Natural toning is usually preferred, where you might find one. Even today, these silver dimes can still appear in old family collections, estate sales, silver coin jars, bank rolls. Many people overlook old dimes without realizing they contain silver. Why this coin is special. Collectors appreciate the 1952 Roosevelt Dime because it contains real silver. It comes from America's classic silver era. Full bands examples are difficult to find. High-grade coins continue increasing in demand. It may be small, but it carries history, silver, and collector value all in one coin. The 1952 Roosevelt Dime proves something important. You don't need a giant treasure chest to find something valuable. Sometimes, a tiny silver dime from the 1950s can become one of the most exciting coins in a collection. So next time you find an old Roosevelt dime, check the date, look for the mint mark, and pay close attention to those torch bands, because that little silver coin might be worth much more than you expect. Coin number 4, 1950s Roosevelt Dime. A forgotten silver coin with hidden collector power. What if a tiny silver coin from the 1950s quietly survived decades of circulation, economic change, and silver melting, only to become a collector favorite years later? That's the story of the 1950s Roosevelt Dime. At first glance, it may not look impressive. It's small, simple, and easy to overlook among other old coins. But experienced collectors know something important. The coins people ignore the fastest are sometimes the ones worth checking the closest. And this Roosevelt Dime proves exactly why. America in 1950, a new beginning. The year 1950 marked the beginning of a powerful new decade in the United States. The country was entering a period of economic growth, expanding industries, rising consumer culture. Silver coins moved constantly through everyday life. People used dimes for transportation, grocery shopping, restaurants, daily purchases. And because these coins circulated heavily, most became worn long before collectors began saving them carefully. That's why finding strong, well-preserved examples today is much harder than most people expect. The San Francisco Mint. The small letter beside the date tells an important part of the story, the S mint mark. This means the coin was struck at the San Francisco Mint. In 1950, San Francisco produced approximately 20 million Roosevelt Dimes. Compared to many other Roosevelt Dimes from the era, that is a much lower mintage, and lower production numbers often attract stronger collector interest. Genuine silver composition. One of the biggest reasons this coin remains collectible is simple. It contains real silver. The 1950 Roosevelt Dime is made from 90% silver, 10% copper, weight 2.5 grams. Unlike modern dimes, it has intrinsic silver value in addition to collector value. That alone makes it more desirable than ordinary modern coins. Obverse. Franklin D. Roosevelt. The front of the coin features Franklin D. Roosevelt, along with Liberty. In God We Trust, 1904, S mint mark. Collectors inspect this side very carefully. They look for hair detail, cheek quality, original mint luster, surface marks. The fewer distractions on the coin, the stronger its value potential becomes. Reverse. Torch of Liberty. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the classic Roosevelt Dime reverse design. Central torch, olive branch, oak branch. These symbols represent liberty, peace, strength. Collectors especially focus on the torch bands. Value breakdown. Now let's talk about what this coin may actually be worth. Circulated silver coins. $2, 6 piles, depending on silver prices. Better condition coins. $15, 60 plus. Uncirculated coins. 100,000 plus. Full bands examples. $2,000, 10,000 plus. Exceptional full bands coins can become extremely valuable. Full bands, the key to higher value. For Roosevelt Dimes, one feature changes everything. Full bands, FB. Collectors examine the horizontal bands on the torch. If the bands are fully separated, sharp, and complete, the coin may qualify for the prized FB designation, and that can dramatically increase collector demand. Original silver shine matters. Collectors also prefer coins with bright silver luster, clean surfaces, minimal contact marks. A beautiful original coin often stands out immediately. Rare errors and varieties. Some 1950s Roosevelt Dimes may feature double die details, off-center strikes, die cracks, weak strikes. These unusual minting mistakes can add even more value. Why collectors love this coin? The 1950s Roosevelt Dime remains highly collectible because it has lower mintage numbers. It contains real silver. Full bands examples are difficult to find. High-grade coins are increasingly scarce. It may look like a tiny coin, but collectors know it holds much more than 10 cents of value. Final thought. The 1950s Roosevelt Dime proves something fascinating. A coin doesn't need to be huge or flashy to become valuable. Sometimes, a small silver dime with the right details becomes the hidden treasure everyone wishes they had saved. So next time you see an old Roosevelt dime, check the date, look for the S mint mark, and pay attention to those tiny torch bands, because that little silver coin might be worth far more than you imagine.